first race on the billing has arrived at Misano. The San Marino GP is always a busy one and coming a stone's throw away from the historic Rimini City and the famous Riviera that it boasts. MotoE is ready to tackle Misano. 23 points split the top 7 in the standings with 100 up for grabs until the end of the year. It could go anyone's way. Starting here at Misano with race 1. With just 4 races remaining, the MotoE World Championship has never been closer. A win's worth of points covers 7 riders who are all well within reach of claiming the last ever title in the championship. The top 2 riders are both level on points, but start outside of the front 3 rows of the grid. And whilst it may be 7 likely riders who fight for the title, the top 9 are all covered by less than 50 points. Misano is a vital place to build momentum, but that is something that has been hard in recent rounds. In the 6th previous season, the eventual champion has only led the way with 4 races to go on 2 occasions, only adding to the land of unpredictability we find ourselves in during this titanic 2025 season. My name is Kiko Giles and alongside me, Neil Morrison, will be taking you through the action here live trackside at Misano, whilst down in pit lane, Elliot York will be bringing the key stories and insight from down on the ground. Neil, this is the closest MotoE season ever, and it's not often in any class of motorcycle racing or indeed motorsport as the wider category that with 4 races remaining, we still have a title fight that could go so many ways. Good afternoon and good morning to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to you as well, Kiko. Absolutely excited for this one. Race 1 here at Misano is always a spectacle in the MotoE category, and especially after what we saw in qualifying yesterday. 2 seriously dramatic qualifying sessions where the 2 big hitters in the championship, Lorenzo Baldassarri and Mattia Casadei, fell by the wayside, meaning that they will start from 13th and 10th on the grid respectively, which really should open things up and make the championship potentially even closer still.
The waters really did part for the LCR E teams. Eric Granado, Mattia Casadei may have been down and out, but for the first time it is back-to-back poles in 2025 for Granado, and it is back-to-back poles for him for the first time since Assen and Catalunya in 2021. 3 podiums here at Misano, all from P3. Can Eric Granado be the first rider to win 3 races in 2 years?
Yeah, that would be a bit of a show up for the books. Eric Granado looking for one of the greatest comebacks in MotoE history, coming back from a serious leg injury. If he can have another win here this morning, or this early afternoon I should say, then he is right back in title contention.
We'll let you off with the morning. That's 1-1 up here in comms. Talking of up here in comms, let's go down to the grid. I believe Elliot York has got something lined up for us.
Yeah, I'm down with Matteo Ferrari on the second row. Matteo, a decent enough qualifying home race, important for the championship this one as well. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it was a very good Friday for us. We didn't improve a lot in qualifying too, but we understand why. So I think we did a great job for today for the balance of the bike. The pace is good, so we have to maintain the focus on the race. 7 laps are not too much, but we are in the second row, so I'm happy about this.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Matteo Ferrari it is who goes from the second row. We just caught a glimpse of Alessandro Zacconi. That was his first front row since Le Mans when he was on pole, and he's been on the front row at Misano before. Andrea Mantovani, 7th in the championship, 23 points off P1. All of his previous front row from qualifying have resulted in podiums. Can he live up to the occasion today?
Yeah, another home hero looking to do well in front of a packed house, packed home fans, and Misano World Circuit is absolutely buzzing here. And well, we mentioned there was a bit of a drama yesterday for one of the chief title contenders. Mattia Casadei finds himself back on the 4th row of the grid, 10th position from him yesterday. And to find out how he's approaching this one, we'll pass down to Elliot.
Yeah, Mattia, a disappointing day yesterday, but I'm sure you've put that out of your mind and what you're expecting, what you're hoping for in today's race.
Nothing. Today is a new day. We have 2 opportunities to rescut the fault of yesterday, and we put our best and we'll see what happens.
Have a good one.
Cool. That was a contrast in emotions in terms of how he's feeling versus how Matteo Ferrari was. Ferrari a bit more geared up. I think Casadei maybe feeling the pressure a little bit, Neil.
Yeah, ever so slightly, and it was such a strange crash that caused him to qualify down in 10th. He didn't even set one lap time. It was on his out lap. He just lost the front going into turn number 6, and I'm sure there were a few question marks surrounding what exactly happened in that fall. The worst kind of crash to have as a racer.
We just caught a glimpse of Hector Garzo heading up that third row of the grid. It's his second best qualifying of the year after he was 4th at the Red Bull Ring. The reigning champion is still within mathematical contention, but really he's going to need a miracle. Talking of miracles, Matteo Casadei, well, he needs to get through race 1 cleanly today. He cannot afford another fault. He is your joint championship leader, but he goes from the 4th over the grid, Neil. Mazzano, the opening sector, it is so tight and tricky. Lots of room for error, but not for Matteo Casadei. He cannot mess this up again.
Yeah, he certainly can't. He's had 3 big fumbles in MotoE races this year, crashed out of promising positions in 3, and the 4th came yesterday in qualifying. But his mood is certainly a contrast to his teammate who starts from pole position, Eric Granado. You can see there trying to get himself in the zone. And here is Lorenzo Baldassarri all the way back, 13th and the 5th row.
Disaster, his worst qualifying of his rookie season, but he is directly behind Matteo Casadei. It is the 5th row of the grid, the 4th and 5th rows of the grid for both of your championship leaders. They are tied on 132 points, but it is Eric Granado who's going to go from pole, and whether or not he's able to convert it once again remains to be seen. The safety car pulls away. We are just a few moments now away from going green for MotoE race 1 at Mazzano.
Yeah, and just as we had in Catalonia, we will have a warm-up lap for both of today's races. That is a new introduction starting from Barcelona last weekend, and that is going to carry through this weekend and the final round in Portimao when we wrap up this year's championship in mid-November.
We are continuing to have a look at this grid. The grid is starting to clear now. This is back with Maria Herrera, who is going from the 5th row of the grid as well in 15th place. Welcome back to Maria Herrera on the Clint Forward Factory Team machine. She was back in World WCR duty last weekend at Magny-Cours, and unfortunately therefore could not come to Barcelona's MotoE meeting. You can see the Aruba Cloud MotoE team are just working their way off the grid, but Eric Granado primed and in position from pole. We are just a few moments away now from going green for this first race here for the San Marino GP weekend. We're looking well down the order. This is the middle of that 5th row for Oscar Gutierrez. He has been a winner before as Oscar Gutierrez, but from 14th on the grid, that's a big ask today.
Yeah, it really is. Caught up with Oscar last night when he was leaving the track, and he was just absolutely devastated with how things have been going. Knows that 14th certainly is not his position, and as Kiko said, the winner in race 2 at the Misano World Circuit 1 year ago, so he does have the track record at this particular venue. But coming back from injury, it has just been a bit of a tall order for the Spaniard, and he just hasn't been able to refine that form that he showed prior to that big crash he had at Le Mans.
Eric Granado going on pole. Can he convert it again? We'll just have to wait and see. And on Eric Granado, if we go all the way towards that front row, he's made it back-to-back poles. Can he make it back-to-back doubles? Ready then to have a big old battle here at Mazzano. 7 riders are within striking distance of the championship lead should results go their way. We had a brief look through the front row, the 2nd row. Nicola Spinelli right in contention. Keep an eye on Matteo Ferrari, we heard from him, and Jordi Torres came through Q1 yesterday. He completes that 2nd row of the grid. It is a season's best qualifying on the 3rd row for Alessio Finello, whilst in the middle of that 3rd row, Kevin Zanoni has made it back-to-back P8. Jacopo Hosjuk and Luca Bernardi are joining Matteo Casadei on that 4th row, and on the last row of the grid, Tibor Eric Varga, he will be making progress from there, ahead of Raffaele Fusco and Tommaso Occhi, both of them racing at home for the team who's racing at home, the SIC 58 Squadra Corsa outfit. We are going on our warm-up lap then here in MotoE. And Neil, of course, we had the news before that this is the last MotoE season, so it's here and Portimao before this lot all go off for a rather extended winter break until they find themselves some work for next year. I asked you for your memories of MotoE yesterday. What about your predictions today? Because I think we're in for a scrap and a half.
Yeah. Was some sad news that came on Thursday that MotoE will go on hiatus for the foreseeable future. Perhaps we'll see it reintroduced into the Grand Prix program back again in a couple of years' time. But yeah, just means we have these 2 rounds to deal with. We need to make the most of them for sure. And looking at the prediction today, I think there's so many potential winners, potential podium sitters. I rather like the look of Alessandro Zacconi coming from the middle of the front row in 2nd position. Number 61, I think, has been looking pretty strong this weekend.
I am going to go for your pole sitter, Eric Granado. I just think he's in such good form of late, but don't discount Andrea Mantovani. He likes a front row conversion. And we haven't forgot about you, Elliot, down in pit lane. Who are you going for, Sam?
I actually agree with Neil that I feel like this is Zacconi's race, but I'll go different. I'll go middle of the 2nd row, Matteo Ferrari. Sounded confident when I spoke to him, so yeah, an important race for the team and himself as well to get himself back into that championship fight properly.
Yeah, thanks, Elliot. You could just see Matteo Ferrari running that special Grissini colour scheme that we've seen from that team over the past couple of years at this home venue.
Just to make our lives a little bit more complicated up here in commentary, you can see the 72 of Alessio Finello. He's the other one as well who is in that special liveried Grissini machine. Eric Granado, though, for the LCRE team. Well, what contrasting fortunes we had yesterday for those guys. Keep an eye on that 4th row of the grid. Mattia Casadei is going to be coming through to number 40. Look how determined he looks, and don't write off Lorenzo Baldassarri just yet as we get ready to get underway here. And Eric Granado and Alessandro Zacconi are going head-to-head down towards the park chicane, and turn 1 Zacconi is the rider who gets there first and leads the charge down in towards turn 2. Hold your breath, because this is very, very tight. You don't want to have any misdemeanors here on the opening lap. But everyone safely through. Next pinch point down towards turn 4. Spinelli from 4th on the grid is up towards 2nd place and gets ahead of your pole sitter Granado, who is under attack from Andrea Mantovani. Those 2 level on points in the championship, so that is a very, very important position gain from your number 9. But out front and down towards Quercia for the first time, it is Alessandro Zacconi, P2 to P1.
Yeah, look at this from Hector Garzo, looking very aggressive on the first lap. He's jumped up 2 positions from 7th on the grid into 5th. He's having a look at Eric Granado down into turn number 8, and as you can see, Mattia Casadei has got away to a very steady start in 8th. He's jumped up 2 positions.
Casadei up to 8th place, but it's Lorenzo Baldassarri who's made a lightning getaway up from 13th to 9th. As we see, that's getting tight. Garzo, your outgoing champion, is going head-to-head there with your champion-elect Mattia Casadei, who is alongside Jordi Torres but slips in behind him. So Torres started 6th, moves back just 1 place to 7th. Behind Casadei, it is Lorenzo Baldassarri. That was getting tight coming through turn 12. This is 13. Now hold your breath for 14. Mantovani looking on the inside. Garzo letting the brakes off, and his leg off the footrest, parks it up the inside of Matteo Ferrari, gets that position made, and Jordi Torres, like a rat up a drain pipe, pinches up place 2. So Torres back up to where he started. Garzo a flying start, 7th up to 5th as they complete the opening lap. Zacconi, Spinelli, Mantovani, the home heroes are doing justice for the fans' attendance here. Granado, your pole sitter, a distant 4th already. 5th place for Garzo, Torres, Ferrari, Casadei and Baldi, your top 9.
Yeah, I'm sure Matteo Ferrari did not expect to have Mattia Casadei 1 place behind him after the first lap. It's been a tough opening for the Grissini star, and this is really playing into the hands of Alessandro Zacconi. Nearly 0.3 of a second of an advantage across the line after lap 1. He's built up half a second over Mantovani in 3rd, and Zacconi played this first lap to perfection.
He has indeed. Zacconi really got the job done off the start, didn't he? Got the launch and got track position ahead of Eric Granado. They come down towards Quercia. This is the battle for 2nd. Andrea Mantovani is up the inside of Spinelli, and that is a great move. You can just hold it off She forces Spinelli wide. Mantovani has the high ground. It is so funny. Just when you think Mantovani is out of this title race, he's going to come racing back into it as him and Zacconi, they are really looking strong here in race 1. This is the battle further back for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th. It is very, very tight back there, but it's all line astern so far.
Yeah, that was a nice move from Kevin Zanoni on the underside of Lorenzo Baldassarri as Jordi Torres puts a good move on Garzo for 5th through Curvoni. That was brave stuff from the number 81. Jordi Torres jumping up 1 position from where he qualified, and you can see I think Eric Granado was a little bit shell-shocked on that first lap after he was demoted from 1st to 3rd, but he's managed to steady himself and he's now right on the back of Spinelli.
Eric Granado just needs to stay with these front 3, you feel. Jordi Torres looks like he's got some pace, so let's keep an eye on that gap as well between Granado and Jordi Torres, between P4 and P5, but they come across the line one more time. 5 laps to go. Granado with the fastest lap of the race, and he's now climbing all over the back of Nicolas Spinelli. There'll be no move through turns 2 or 3, but you can guarantee that Granado will have seen where Spinelli was weak. Last time around that was at turn 8, so maybe he's going to get ready to pounce this time around. As it stands, oh, he's not waiting until turn 8, it's turn 4, and he gets the job done. Lovely stuff for the Brazilian, so he's back up into the podium positions, whilst look who's out front charging here. Andrea Mantovani was strong down towards turn 8 last time on Nicolas Spinelli. Is he strong enough to mount a charge this time and hit the front? He's alongside. Does he let the brakes off? He thinks about it, but he can't. Spinelli retaliates on Granado. That's down at turn 8. Does he run wide, as we so often see? No, he doesn't. So Spinelli takes that P3 back. Granado relegated back to 4th, but Andrea Mantovani is riding pillion with Alessandro Zacconi up here at Tremonto turn 10.
Yeah, he is so much faster than Zacconi up ahead, it seems. He was 2/10 quicker the last time around, but Mantovani, you have to feel a move for the lead is only a matter of time. It won't come into Curvoni just here, but he is placed very, very well for a potential attack down into turn 14. You can see they've just got a bit of a gap over 3rd position. Nicolas Spinelli 0.6 of a second back in 3rd. Mantovani not quite close enough this time around into turn 14.
You had to think about it though, and perhaps a little bit of a dress rehearsal to come storming through in the latter stages of this one. We're going to come through turn 15 as we take a look back through the pack. Casadei has got some distance now over Lorenzo Baldassarri, so between 9th and 10th there's about 4/10 of a second, I'd say. I think Zanoni has actually got ahead of Casadei on that lap as well. Down across the line, Zacconi from Mantovani still. Spinelli looked a little bit out of shape there in turn into P3, but gathered it up. Granado 4th. And stalking his prey, Torres, rear view mirrors if he had any, full of the reigning world champion.
Yeah, fastest rider on track last time around was actually Hector Garzo in 6th, and you can see that both he and Jordi Torres are latching onto the back of Hector Garzo to make this a lead train of what, 6 riders, in fact 7, because the number 11 of Matteo Ferrari is not far behind Hector Garzo. This really is wide open here at mid-race point.
Garzo looking on the inside of Jordi Torres and Spinelli looking on the inside of Mantovani. Both make the pass. Do they both make it stick? In the case of Spinelli, yes, we might have to wait a little bit more for Garzo versus Torres, but I think the number 1 has the high ground up towards turn 9, and indeed he does. So Garzo moves up into 5th place. Spinelli takes over at the front. Look how close Mantovani is riding there. He can almost get out and touch the rear wheel of Spinelli up ahead of him. So Nicolas Spinelli now takes up the charge to Alessandro Zacconi, but the thing is, Zacconi's had a lot of this race. He's going to get comfortable at the front. He's not being disturbed. Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, Jordi Torres having a bit of a look at Hector Garzo, thinking better off it down into turn number 12 and 13. Garzo a little unsettled on the brakes just there. I think it's pretty clear, Kiko, that neither Casadei nor Baldassarri have the pace to go with this lead group. They're getting dropped back in 9th and 10th position as it stands.
Just when you needed a round to not drop the ball. Both Casadei and Balda dropped it yesterday, and they have not fought their way through this pack like we thought they would. It might just be those race 1 nerves. When we go green later at 4:10 local time, it might all be different. 3 laps to go, and it's a track limits warning now for Mattia Casadei. Now, he had one of these back at Assen before he crashed, so Mattia Casadei won't be wanting to exceed track limits too many more times. There's still 3 to go.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. Fastest rider last time around, once again, Hector Garzo, the rider in 5th position, and that was including a pass on Jordi Torres last time around. You can see He is now all over the back of Eric Granado, who doesn't quite have the same pace as the two riders just up ahead of him. Granado is just a couple of tenths of a second back. He's 4/10 of a second back of third as it stands, and he needs to be careful because Garza is coming, as is Ferrari.
Ferrari up the inside. He was really tight on the apex there. I'm just wondering if he cost himself speed on the exit. Jordi Torres won't take it lying down. Oh, he's absolutely forced out at turn 9. That's getting very tight indeed. Matteo Ferrari gets the job done. Elsewhere, further down the field, Jacopo Hosjuk has a long lap penalty for exceeding track limits, and I'm making that relevant by the fact that Mattia Casadei is already on a warning. There is time left in this race yet for you to be penalised should you make too many more track limits exceeding misdemeanours. Coming down towards turn 14, Zacconi is still leading this one and looking very comfortable ahead of Spinelli. I think it is more about a battle for P2 here, Neil. None of them look like they're quicker anywhere than the 61 who's leading this.
Yeah, Zacconi's super strong in the first sector of the track, but seems to lose quite a bit through sector 3, and that is through the fast right-hander at Curvoni, the most spectacular corner on this track. They come across the line again, and Zacconi sets his personal best lap off the race. He is just getting faster as the race goes on. Fastest rider last time around, Matteo Ferrari now in 6th position. So this is yo-yoing. We're seeing the likes of Garzo and Ferrari coming towards the front, but not fast enough to really make an impact on the riders ahead.
And look how tight it is in the championship. Alessandro Zacconi was third coming into this and 10 points back. If it stays as is, he would have an 8-point lead going in to this afternoon's race 2. So Alessandro Zacconi is striking right at the right time. We take them down towards turn 8 one more time. No changes of position this time around, but Nicola Spinelli, because he's been just left alone for a lap or so, you get the feeling now he's building some kind of momentum, and it might all be coming down to a last lap shootout. And Nicola Spinelli yet to win in 2025. He could well be looking to add his name to the winners list.
Yeah, he could well be, and this is where Zacconi lost a little bit of time to the riders behind him last time. Let's see what he's like through Curvoni on this occasion. You can see Spinelli using more of the curb on the entry to get a better run through that fast right-hander, and it looks as though he will not be close enough to make an attack into turn 14. Zacconi, though, you have to say, is doing very well up front. He might not be stretching the group apart, but he is basically riding mistake-free as it stands.
He's making them work for it, and that's the important thing. Just a note on Hector Garzo through turn 14. He runs in so deep, and really, if I was Eric Granado, I'd be looking to make a pass now, because you do not want Hector Garzo chasing a podium, trying to run it up the inside of you on the last lap, of which we are on now. The last lap is underway, and Granado does make that move that I was talking about on Andrea Mantovani, or at least he tries to. Mantovani lets the brakes off at turn 2. He's offline, and all of this battling is really costing them a chance of victory here. Mantovani, oh, that's tight. Mantovani runs it through. Granado's going to block past him down in towards turn 4, stands him up, and Garzo is going to say, oh, I fancy a bit of that, but think better of it this time around. But look at the amount of time it's cost him, Neil. That's about 8/10 of a second. This is a 2-horse race now for the victory between Zacconi and Spinelli. Still side by side. Wow, Ferrari got great drive coming out of turn 6 there. He's going to let the brakes off into Quercia, as does Mantovani, who is still warring on with Eric Granado, and that time I think he's got it done.
Yeah, that was a really nice return pass there from Andrea Mantovani into turn 8. You're right, Kiko, it has separated this lead group into 2 riders, and then this chasing fight for 6 just behind, and it looks as though it is a two-way fight between Zacconi and Spinelli for victory.
It is important with Mantovani and Eric Granado as well. They're level on points for 6th and 7th in this championship. Here comes Nicola Spinelli, who's looking up the inside at turn 12 but can't get it done. Turn 14 then. Is it going to be late braking from the 29? It is, but not late enough. Oh, Ferrari up the inside of Hector Garzo and runs the reigning world champion out wide. But we take them through 15 and 16. Has Spinelli got anything into the last corner? No, he hasn't. Alessandro Zacconi is going to take victory here if he keeps it all neat and tidy, which he does. The 61 returns to winning ways for the first time since Assen. Spinelli another podium. Mantovani converts P3 in qualifying to P3 in the race. Granado just missing out. Ferrari stays 5th. Zanoni 6th ahead of Torres, Garzo, and your joint championship leaders coming into this, Casadei and Lorenzo Baldassari, are no longer your championship leaders. Alessandro Zacconi will carry Ferrari an 8-point lead going into race 2 this afternoon, ahead of Casadei, Baldassarri, and just 13 points back Nicolas Spinelli, MotoE. It's delivered again, and it's still very close.
Yeah, if we said that was a lights to flag victory for Alessandro Zacconi, it doesn't quite tell the full story of his race. He was put under incessant pressure from the riders behind, Spinelli, Mantovani and Granado, plus a few others, not to mention. And well, he just held his nerve on that final lap, didn't he? Kept it very, very clean, no mistakes, and defended beautifully down into turn 14. What a timely return to the podium for the number 61. His first podium since Assen, since he was victorious all the way back in June.
Alessandro Zacconi as well is in decent form. He might have not had a podium since Assen's victory, but he has finished every single race up inside those top 8 positions, with the exception of the second Le Mans race. This was the race start which we came to a little bit late. Granado and Zacconi, look at Zacconi, fantastic off the line. And gets it driving, lets the brakes off, takes the high ground and track position. Oh, that was close. Ferrari and Mantovani. No wonder Hector Garzo got a flying start. He went all the way around the outside, and the number 11 Filo Gracidi special liveried MotoE bike, and really got stuck in. This is Lorenzo Baldassarri trying to follow Mattia Casadei through, but on the first lap, that was where the position was made, and that is exactly where Alessandro Zacconi just took control of that race 1.
Yeah, at one point after lap 2 or lap 3, I was thinking maybe he is struggling for pace. The riders behind are going to catch him and pass him, but actually it looked as though he was just managing everything to perfection and not burning up his Michelin tyres too much in the early laps, and he had enough in hand to keep it nice and smooth and to lead Spinelli home by 0.17 at the finish line. Brilliant stuff for Zacconi, second victory of the year, and now the new MotoE World Championship leader.
Yeah, and what a time to come good. Zacconi it is who now leads the title ahead of Casadei, Balda, Spinelli, Mantovani. That third place, ironically, he's 1 point closer to the lead than what he was coming into this. Eric Granado, you could say your big loser, but still the top 7 are only covered by 25 points. The massive round of applause for the home hero. It is an Italian 1, 2, 3 as well, and we can't lose sight of that. We are here in Italy at Misano. Nicolas Spinelli, a fine P2. Mantovani, as we said, P3, and less than a second covering those top 3 positions. That has certainly whet my appetite for later on, Neil. I don't know about yours.
Yeah, absolutely, and just 2.25 of a second covering the top 8. It was a freight train of 8 riders fighting towards the front, and we got the finale that we all wanted as well, with that great fight between Mantovani and Granado for third, and Spinelli putting Zacconi right on the back foot and trying to make an attack, even though he wasn't successful. Great stuff from Spinelli, the dark horse in this year's championship. I've said it before, Kiko, he's now had 3 podium finishes in the last 4 races, and he has snuck right into title contention.
He really has, along with Lorenzo Baldassarri. The problem is they both just need a victory, and you get the feeling that, well, at least for Lorenzo Baldassarri, that isn't going to come. But you're absolutely on the money there, Neil, with Nicolas Spinelli. It's not just his 3rd podium in 4, it's his 3rd P2 in 4, so decent points haulage every time out recently for the number 29. Whereas for Andrea Mantovani, a welcome return to form. Honestly, I think we are both in agreement here, and as is Elliot down in pit lane, that Andrea Mantovani was kind of out of contention for this one, but he's definitely got himself back into contention this time around, hasn't he?
Yeah, good stuff from Mantovani. He really needed that after a couple of races off the boil, as Kiko mentioned. Just wasn't his usual self in Austria, Hungary or Barcelona, but back on home soil and back in the mix. And just getting the word there that he has to go and speak to our very own Elliot York. I'm sure the interview will be coming up pretty soon.
And it's the celebrations are always good when Andrea Mantovani is around, but I am fairly sure Andrea Mantovani's interview is going to be pretty special once he's put the P3 down. What's he going to do if he wins later on in race 2 at home? I think we are getting... We are getting something, that's for sure. I thought we were going to get Mantovani's interview there. We're going to have to wait for that one, but definitely the best hairstyle on the grid. I won't say in the paddock, because obviously we know whose honour that goes to, don't we, Neil?
We do indeed. He sat to my left as well.
Who's that?
Stolen some of your dance moves as well, by the looks of it.
Oh, that's an insult to him. He's not that bad. I think he's ready now, isn't he? El, down to you. Take it away. P3 and back in title contention. Good job, Andrea.
Andrea, great job. Put it on the front row yesterday in a great battle for the podium, and you did it beating Eric Granado. Talk us through that and how you feeling.
It's difficult race because when past 2 laps I'm very fast, but in the corner 4 the front close, and okay, I stay calm, and okay, calm Manto, but Granado overtake me and lose the time, but okay, it's important to the podium, okay, and I'm very happy. Thank you for the team for a fantastic job. It's an incredible day. It's my home. Viva la Romagna. Ciao.
Well done.
Well done, Elliot. We'll let you have that one. Andrea Mantovani never disappoints.
Yeah, you can't say that he doesn't put everything into his racing. You can tell that that one came from the heart. Lovely interview as always, and so lucky to not get collected, sorry, by Hector Garza coming through turn 5 on that occasion. There was the move down at turn number 8. Beautiful inside block pass on Eric Granado.
And indeed it was Mantovani who took third. A fine ride. Not a bad one either. Nicholas Spinelli is third, P2 in 4. He is in title contention.
Nicholas, so close to that win. You tried to make a move on the last lap, but just didn't quite have enough. Talk us through how you're feeling after finishing P2 in Bazzano.
No, beautiful race. I start with calm because the tire in the first lap is not very good, but I did some mistake in this race. We know where it's possible to do better for race 2, and we will see after for the race 2.
Good job.
Thank you.
Great stuff from Nicholas Spinelli. He gave it his all. He just needs to go one better near, and then you get the feeling that maybe Portimao might be coming at the right time for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Took his first ever MotoE victory here back at the end of 2023. And he's started this weekend off in brilliant fashion, coming through from 4th to 2nd. And now just within 13 points of the championship lead. Spinelli, certainly a title contender.
And his starts are absolutely phenomenal, as are this rider here, Alessandro Zacconi, your race winner for the first time since Assen, and your new MotoE championship leader.
Alessandro, the whole shot and then a flawless race to just hold off the competition there, and now you are the championship leader heading to race 2 as well. You must be feeling pretty good.
Well, amazing race. Oh, I said yesterday I feel strong from the free practice, but for sure feel strong and win is always there is always a big gap. But anyway, we did a really good race. I think I led all the race. I did no mistake, and it's not easy with this difficult front tire, so I was able to manage a bit. Maybe I have also some more margin, but I want to manage. I don't want to take any risk because we know that for the championship is really important to get point. Now, yes, we have to enjoy, but there is another really important race this afternoon, and we will try to do a good result also in race 2.
Great win, well done.
Thank you very much.
The form guide says, Neil, of late, that if you win race 1, you go on to win race 2. He had that in Matteo Ferrari with us in Austria, with Mattia Casadei in Hungary, and Eric Granado last time out. A double win for Alessandro Zacconi is on the cards, and you've got to think if he does it, it will be at least a 13-point lead going to Portimao, and that is not just to be sniffed at.
No, it certainly isn't. Yeah, the omens are there for Zacconi to wrap this up this weekend, but you just never know in MotoE, and it's been so unpredictable knowing which way the championship fight will go over the last couple of weeks. Just when we thought it was maybe going in the direction of Ferrari, he made a mistake, or Casadei, he made a mistake in Barcelona, and I don't want to tempt fate here, but Zacconi really does need to keep his head before we can start talking him up as you know, a champion in waiting. Still a lot of racing to do.
if anything does happen to Alessandro Zacconi, I would just like to point out that Neil Morrison is the one with the much better hair, and he's a little bit taller than me, if you would like to have a word with him in the paddock. 3 Italian flags on the podium. That's what we like to see in terms of the home fans as well. We went through most of the order inside the top 10. Just outside, Oscar Gutierrez took 11th ahead of Luca Bernardi, who's racing at home for the first time in MotoE. Alessio Finello's top 10 qualifying did not transcend into a top 10 result. He took 13th. Tibor Varga came up a couple of positions. He was 14th ahead of Jacopo Hosjuk, who had to take a long lap penalty. But we are getting ready for the podium ceremony.
Yeah, just a quick mention for Kevin Zanoni in 6th. He was down, I think, as low as 10th on lap 1. Didn't have a great start, didn't have a great first couple of corners, but came back to finish in 6th, and was certainly one of the fastest names on the track at the end of the race. If he can get a good start in race 2, he could maybe be playing for the podium, Kevin Zanoni. But here it is for the top 3. Andrea Mantovani on the podium at his home race. Great to see that big smile back on the box, and he has restarted his championship challenge after a few rounds in the wilderness.
Yeah, his last rounds after Assen, no top 7 for Andrea Mantovani. He's now racing at home and he's back on the podium. It's his 4th of the season, but his first P3. Nicolas Spinelli, it took him a long time to get those podiums. They first started coming at the end of the Hungarian round, but ever since then he's had 3, and the only other one where he was on the podium, Catalonia race 1, that was a P5 with the fastest lap. And for your winner, Alessandro Zacconi, it is a 4th podium of the season, but it is a first since Assen. It feels like we've rolled back the rounds with Zacconi and Mantovani up there on the podium, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. A few races since we've seen them fighting at the very, very front, but 2 good races here today will do wonders for the championship challenge, and it is the Victor's Trophy for the 2nd time this year. Alessandro Zacconi on the top step.
And for that, it's going to be the national anthem of Italy. Well, what a way to kickstart Sprint Saturday here at Misano. Neil, so what are some of the big takeaways from race 1, and what are some of the key things to keep an eye on for race 2?
Well, I think there's going to be a real meeting between Carlos Mattia Casadei and his team, as well as Lorenzo Baldassarri and his team, to find a solution for what was a pretty lackluster race 1 here.
It really was a bit desperate down there, wasn't it? But not so for Alessandro Zacconi. It is a fine, fine win for him ahead of Spinelli and Mantovani. As we said, Granado upset what would have been an Italian 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He took 4th place at the checkered flag. Ferraris and only Torres Garza and Casadei, your top 9. Balda coming through for 10th, but he's going to need more than that later on in race 2, which starts, the broadcast at least starts at 4 o'clock local time, straight after the MotoGP Tissot Sprints. Don't go anywhere. Make sure you do join us live for what is going to be another thrilling chapter in this MotoE 2025 title race. Alessandro Zacconi moves up 2 places from 3rd to 1st and dislodges Casadei and Baldassarri's joint championship lead efforts, and between them now it is just 9 points across the top 3. It has got even closer, can you believe it? All the way through the order we go. The team standings, LCR E-Team are still at the top, 23 ahead of Dynavolt Intact GP, and the Aspar team, they're in 3rd. 4th for the Aruba Cloud MotoE team, courtesy of Zacconi's win earlier on in race 1. We are going to leave you with the highlights. Myself, Kiko Giles, I'm checking out of here. Lewis Sotheby is moving in. That's because we've got Moto3 qualifying coming up in the company of Lewis and Neil Morrison, who stays put. See you later for race 2 in MotoE. Enjoy.